everyone, welcome to another round of Chitter Chatter. Today we're going to have a Chitter Chatter with monk Nityanand Charan ji. Well, this is our Chitter Chatter with him for the second time on his second book, Ask the Monk. And I'm sure you have a lot of questions to ask the monk. Well, this book is a book which is for a 9-year-old to a teenager to the Gen Z to the millennium. It's a book for everyone. It has about 73 questions which are answered, and trust me, there's so many questions that I always want to know. Why do we pray? Why do our spirituals books say that we shouldn't eat non-veg? Or why Lord Krishna is blue, green, and so many more questions. And trust me, when you read this, you also will have so many questions that are finally answered, and there's so many more questions that we would want to ask. Well, thank you for sending in your questions, which I'm going to ask the monk right now, and do sending in your questions and love in this Chitter Chatter. I'm sending a request to him right now, and we shall get started with our podcast. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Good, good. By God's grace, everything is...
Then, about your earlier book, Icons of Grace, now ask the monk.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was telling all our viewers about Ask the Monk, where this book you have targeted to everybody, from a childhood person to a grown-up, to a teenager, to a millennial, to a Gen Z, like you name it, and it is targeted to everybody. It answers questions of everyone. At least that's what I felt when I read the book.
True,
And I was telling them also about your earlier book, Icons of Grace. So being an author of 2 books, from Icons of Grace to Ask the Monk, please tell our viewers about Ask the Monk.
Actually, this is my 3rd book. So the first one, I did it in a hurry. It's called Bound by Love. So Ask the Monk, I actually wanted to publish it next year, and it was on my mind. But then I realized, why wait for another year? Because these are everyone's questions. Children have been asking me these questions, teenagers, youth, young mothers, millennials, and everyone beyond that also. And in 1 year, so many things can change. And people are stuck because their questions are not answered properly. They can't move forward. So that's why I thought, let's just do it. So it happened in a hurry. And the publishers also agreed to do it in a record time. So it just happened by God's grace. And in this book, I have taken almost 74 questions, total 74 questions. And these are based on whatever interactions I've had with different age group, people, audience in the last 7-8 years. And therefore, I felt a necessity to just bring it out in a book form, because how many people can actually remember when they interact or they question, and how many people can I reach out to? But then books have a wider outreach. And when you know that these are everyone's questions, not just of those who are interacting with you. So it was an important decision that I had to take this year, and it happened. And I'm already seeing that even the people who have had no connection, no faith, they're also reading. Even people from different nationalities, they are reading. So I keep getting messages. So I'm happy with the effort, and so let's see.
So like you said, it's the that you decided, and the book was made in a rush, and the publishers also rushed, and it's reached the right audience, reached everyone. It has answered many questions. In fact, when I was reading, it was quite surprising that there were many questions in life that I had. And you either stop to ask somebody, or you have disposed of saying that, what kind of question is this? And you have answered so many questions, and you decided to answer these 74 questions. So why this number of 74?
No, it's not about 74. These are the questions which I could think of, which are most important, and they're in everyone's mind. So initially my plan was, at least let's have 108 questions. But then these are the questions. I could have added more, but these are the most important ones, most common ones. And plus, I wanted to keep the book smaller in size compared to my Icons of Grace, which was 360 pages. So original plan was to keep it to 200 pages, because it's an easy, quick read. People, while looking at the size of the book also, sometimes they faint. So I didn't want that to happen. So, but still it ended, it turned out to be 288 pages. So I think that's good enough. And the best thing is everyone doesn't have to read a chapter. They can just look at one question at a time, and it is addressing a particular issue. So 74 is just the number, just happened. It was never planned.
So I have to tell the viewers here, I have read Oceans of Grace and I have read book to Ask the Monk. And both your books, though you said that book was heftier compared to Ask the Monk, but the way you've written it and the way each personality, even the icons of grace, was written so briefly that you don't have to read it at one go. You can go back to it and you can still know a lot about them. And at the same time, in Ask the Monk, you can, pick up whichever question you feel like knowing the answer about, and you can pick up and read. So both these books are enlighten you in a very different way. And after this chitter chatter, if you haven't read either books, the one thing you have to do is go ahead, get your copies, and also you can ask the monk whatever you feel like asking, because I'm sure he's enlightened us with these questions. He will be prepared to answer many more questions.
Yes, I'll try.
So, what were the frequent questions that you can actually think of on the spur of the moment right now when I tell you, from these 74 questions, which were your most frequently asked questions?
I think one is about destiny, which is the first question in the book. Is everything predestined? And then what is the role of sciences like palmistry, astrology in life? That is one. Then people may not say it, but they always have it in mind. Why do bad things happen to good people? Then there is about God being formless, or does he have a form? Or who is supreme between Vishnu and Krishna? What is the distinction between Shiva and Krishna? Can I be spiritual without being religious? This is not a question, but this is a common belief nowadays. So I wanted to address that also. So these are some of the most common, and especially the one which I added in the end. Does Lord Shiva smoke? So people haven't asked me, they have told me. So I had to then refute that. So I put that right in the end. Even after the manuscript was being typeset, I had to just add that in the end. So these are some of the common ones which have been asked. Why did Krishna not marry Radharani? Why did he have so many wives? Why did Ram banish Sita? So all these, why did Yudhishthira gamble if he knew it was an evil which we shouldn't be, allowing to enter our life? So these are some of the questions, I think, most common ones.
Many a times every quest of seeking answers can be a life-changing moment. You get answers for something you're seeking. Not be in a very direct way, but in an indirect way, it can be a life-changing moment of your life. What is your take on that?
It happened with me also, because when I came in touch with the process, the devotees started coming to our college. It was 2003 or 4. And I would not chant. They would sit and chant the Maha Mantra, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. The Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So they used to sing, but I would never sing because I was a devotee of Lord Shiva. So I was thinking, how can I chant Krishna's name when I am worshipping Shiva? So one fine day, the devotees took us to their apartment, and in the evening they had a kirtan again. They had chanting. I still didn't chant. I would close my eyes, keep my mouth shut, and internally I was praying to Krishna that, I want to chant your name, but how can I? I'm a devotee of Shiva. And next morning when I was leaving, the devotee gave me the Bhagavad Gita, and I just randomly opened it. Now I could have opened any page, any chapter, any verse, and the verse opens up where Krishna is saying, among the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. So you're indicating that you want to worship Shiva, but that's me only. And that was the end. So then I immediately shifted to Krishna's worship, and this was a question which was directly answered by Gita, and that was like the defining moment in my life. Rest, of course, is just a part of life, but uh, since you asked about me, so this was it.
Many times people ask questions, but they're not ready to accept the answer or accept the truth. It's like they want to hear what is not the truth, or they're not ready to hear the answer. What happens? What is your take on that?
No, you can't convince such people. See, first of all, one thing needs to be understood. The person who is asking is in a inferior position, in the sense, because he's asking somebody. So the person who is going to answer has to be in a higher position, and the person asking is in lower position. That is how the Gita also says, Krishna says, one must approach a bona fide guru and inquire from him submissively, not challengingly. So people who are not ready to accept the answers, they have very close minds, and such people can never be taught even by God himself. And the example is given in the Gita itself, where till the second chapter, 7th verse, Arjuna had his own mind. He was giving various arguments, he was talking, and Krishna did not speak a word. Arjuna had his own ways. This is right, this is wrong, and this is not done. And saying, Krishna, you're saying this, but I believe it is like this. So Krishna did not speak a word. Only when in 2.7 Arjuna agreed and he accepted that he was totally confused, he couldn't help himself, he needed guidance. Krishna, I accept you as my spiritual master. Please guide me as your disciple. Then Krishna started speaking, because Krishna knew if the mind is already full, nothing else will go inside. So such people and this mentality results from very deep-rooted false ego, where they think they know better and they don't want to hear from anybody. And if they happen to ask questions also, they ask to validate what they think is right. And if the person answering does not do that, then they don't accept the answer. As long as the speaker agrees with them, he's nice. If he doesn't, no, we don't, it doesn't make sense. So it is false ego, because you know better, you think. And therefore, such people, even God cannot teach them. So, therefore, in the 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, it's very interesting. Krishna talks about 20 items of knowledge. And the first and foremost is humility. So, unless there is humility, person cannot learn. And humility means you realize that you don't know everything, you need guidance, you need to be taught. And therefore, without that humility, nobody can learn. So humility is required to acquire knowledge, and humility is also the result of knowledge. Initially, we exhibit humility voluntarily, taking a lower position and seeking some superior guidance. And when we actually acquire knowledge, then the result of that knowledge is we realize our own insignificance and we develop genuine humility. So humility is the key. Without that, there's no learning.
Wow, I would have to highlight this. And viewers, any part of the chatter or this podcast, you can easily check it out later. It's going to be saved on IGTV. And while we are continuing to have these enlightening chat, I would like to ask this question. Many times in school, like as a child, you said in your beginning of the book, you tend to have a lot of questions. We have a lot of questions. We are very curious, all of that.
Right.
At times we tend to stop asking questions, or we stop observing, or we just tend to follow this is right and this is wrong. So when it comes to questions, is there always a right or a wrong?
Sorry, I didn't get that word. When it comes to
Questions, like, can there be a right question or a wrong question? A question is just a question.
No, question is just a question. And as I've written in the introduction part also, that asking questions is a sign of intelligence. So intelligence will analyze. So asking questions is I think never bad, and it is indeed a sign of someone who is intelligent, who wants to know things, curiosity, and only by asking questions can we know this world. Like our whole life also begins with a question. We are asking our mother, or at least we are seeking to know, who is my father? What is this world around me? So the mother teaches us, and we keep asking questions. Parents teach us. When we go to schools, our questions are being answered. Those things which we can't understand, we request the teachers to, give us those answers. So our whole life is actually based on question and answer only. And
True.
but we should know what kind of questions need to be asked by human beings, and they should not simply be limited to how I can eat better, sleep, enjoy life, finished. That should not be the goals. Humans are expected to ask questions of a higher reality, like who am I, where do I come from, what is the purpose of life, who is God, what is my relationship with him, why do I suffer even if I do not want to, how can I put an end to my suffering. So these are questions of higher nature. And the Vedanta Sutra explains every human being, everyone who is born as a human being, Athato Brahma Jigyasa, he must inquire about the absolute truth, that is God. So that's what separates us humans from animals. They're also asking questions. The bird is asking, where's food, where's food, where is my mother, where's this, where's my mate. So the humans are also asking the same questions throughout their life. What is the difference between them and animals? It is the same. Mahabharata says, Dharmena hina pashubi samana. So if we don't ask such questions about life, about God, about our own spiritual nature, then we are no better than animals. Mahabharata says that.
One learn without asking questions, or can without asking questions?
Pardon?
I said, can one learn without questions?
Uh, when you say learn, that word itself, uh, you can say, signifies that we are seeking something that we don't know. So that learning itself means that we want to know what we don't know at the moment. So for that, you need to then approach someone with a superior intelligence who has higher knowledge. So learning means we learn those things that we don't know. And for that, therefore, we need to question. And we have to understand that we do not know everything. We have to accept the fact. And therefore, learning is important. And to think that we know everything or we can manage things on our own, it's insane, literally. In any field, uh, a human being is born ignorant, by the way. He has some knowledge, but not full knowledge. That only God has. Therefore, we need, in any field, the children. If people could just learn on their own, why do you send your children to school? The books are available. Now you don't even need the books. Everything is there on Google. Why do you need educational institutions? So learning is an important aspect, and for that we need some teacher, some guide. Somebody wants to learn football, cricket, so they need to approach a proper guide. So in every field we definitely need to be guided. Plus, that is a system made by God in this world. Because if he doesn't make that system, everybody would be proud.
True.
And imagine the whole world, 7.5 billion people, the whole world filled with proud people. What will happen? So the Lord has not given everybody complete knowledge. So that system has been made. You have to seek someone's help to learn more. On our own, we can learn little. And especially when it comes to scriptures, spiritual knowledge, the scriptures, even though you know the language, English, Hindi, or Sanskrit, that doesn't guarantee that you will understand the scriptures also, because scriptures are revelations. They are revealed. And who they are revealed to? Those people who have implicit faith in Guru and Krishna, Guru and God. So only those revelations will happen. Otherwise, they won't. We will just understand the language and nothing beyond that. So on
Wow.
our own, it's not possible. Those who think that they can manage things on their own and that I, me, and mine is very prominent in their life, that is again a sign of big, big false ego. And that separates us from God's mercy. And
So
nobody
when,
likes a proud person.
so when you talk about false ego, there are many people who are suffering from false ego, and especially in today's time, even if they're not suffering because of peer pressure, because of just maintaining a outlook or having filter, they do have this filter of false ego in their own life.
Mhm.
How can one calm or their false ego?
See, we have to understand where it comes from. It is a disease of the heart. So that means the heart needs to be cleansed. And the heart cannot be cleansed by some surgery. A doctor cannot do that. A healer cannot do that. So the heart is purified. The scriptures explain through the regular uh, chanting and hearing about the Lord's glories, His name, His fame, His qualities, pastimes. By hearing the divine sound of His name, when it enters through our ears, it goes to the heart, purifies it. And by hearing the divine words of the scriptures, when we do it on a regular basis, the heart gets purified. And when the heart gets purified, the natural constitutional position of the soul means us, you and me and everybody else, is manifest. So by nature we are by potentially we are all divine, we are humble, but because of our previous conditionings, we have developed this very thick layer of false ego, and that layer can easily be destroyed by regular hearing of the Lord's name, fame, qualities, pastimes, chanting His names, remembering Him. And to the degree our hearts get purified, to that very degree we become humble. To that very degree the false ego goes away. There's no other way. It may make sense to some, it may not, but there's no other way. This is the only way we can have our hearts purified, through devotional service, by God's mercy.
So people, it's that simple. All you have to do is remember the divine, these questions, and ask the monk. And after our chitter chatter, go and grab your keys. Hope this answers a lot of your questions. And before I end this podcast, I would like to ask, do you have your copy around so that we could have a selfie moment with your book?
Oh, yeah, just a second. I think I have it here. Yeah, just a second. I forgot last time also you asked me the same thing and I did the same.
1, 2, 3. Thank you. So,
Thank you.
thank you for answering all our questions, because like you said, these 74 questions are, out of these 74, I think more than 40 questions I always had in my mind from the time I was and I just couldn't keep the copy down, because all I was doing like, oh, I want to know about this also, and this is so true, I want to know about this also. And I'm sure a lot of our other viewers also will want to know a lot more. So like Monk says, please, happy reading, happy asking questions, and whatever are your questions, you can DM me, you can DM Nityanand Charan ji, and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions. And hope you all have enjoyed the live. Hope you have enjoyed this chitter chat too. And looking forward to many more books from you and many more chitter chatters.
Thank you, and grateful to you for again hosting me for the second time, I think. You missed the book launch, but anyways, this is our digital book launch, the first one for this book.
I read Icons of Grace, be it as the questions, and I'm looking forward to many, many, many more books, because the knowledge that you impart is just something that we all want to see, but we just don't know where to go. So this book is like a blessing for all of us. So thank you once again for these books that you've been writing and sharing with us.
Thank you so much, and it's available on Amazon in case anybody wishes to order. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.